Have you ever had a dream within a dream? I'm still not sure if I'm awake. I'm afraid to sleep.
Have you ever had a dream within a dream, within a dream, and within a dream? It's a terrible condition. Imagine I had it 8 times in one night. I woke up, as it seemed to me, for real. Monday morning. Everything looked normal. Morning. Slight grayness outside the window. The smell of coffee from somewhere in the kitchen. I even remember stretching and thinking, I slept so well. The day began calmly. I went to work, chatted with colleagues, laughed. Everything was perfect. Until I turned on the radio in the car. A woman's voice told me the weather. Only this voice was mine. Clearly with my own intonations, words that I definitely did not say, but which I knew. It was as if an electric shock had struck me. I sharply turned up the volume and woke up again. I sat up in bed in a cold sweat. My palms were shaking. I tried to convince myself that I had just had a strange dream, but the feeling wouldn't go away. I checked my phone. The date was the same. Nothing out of the ordinary. Everything looked familiar. The day went on as usual. I met Bill, my school friend. We sat down in a cafe. He ordered pizza, as usual, but when he started talking, a voice came out of his mouth. Shrek. Not a parody. That voice, with an accent, with intonations. He continued talking, and I just watched his lips move, not believing that this was happening. My heart started beating faster. I realized I was dreaming again. And at that very moment, I woke up. This time, I started to panic. I looked at my room and looked for a catch. Everything looked normal until I went outside. People were walking past, no one was talking. And most importantly, no one was blinking. I walked down the street feeling my consciousness shrinking with fear. There was a woman with a baby sitting across from me on the subway. The baby had round, glassy eyes, and he didn't blink. He didn't breathe. He just stared straight at my face. I closed my eyes, just to disappear. When I opened them, he was back in his bed. Now, each awakening was harder for me. I was shaking. I felt the world as something shaky, unreliable. I looked in the mirror, and my reflection blinked with a delay. I turned my head. It followed me with a second lag. In the headphones, even when they were turned off, I began to hear a voice. It repeated something that sounded like a mixture of baby talk and a whisper in another language. I went to the bathroom to calm down with cold water. A thick black stream came out of the tap. Not water, something else. Oily, stinking. I touched it with my hand and opened my eyes again. The 5th time, waking up no longer brought relief. Now it brought only fear. The sun was shining at the wrong angle. It seemed closer than it should be. I heard birds singing in reverse. Their chirping was rewound, like an old film. The bread I broke for breakfast made a sharp sound, like breaking glass. When I left the house, everyone on the street turned their heads in my direction at the same time, as if on cue. I closed my eyes and began to repeat to myself, "Wake up, wake up, wake up." And it worked. Or did it? I found myself in bed for the 6th time that morning. I got up and immediately covered my face with my hands. I was crying. My nervous system simply couldn't take it. I didn't know where I was. If I was real, everything was too quiet. Even my footsteps made no sound. The light from the window was deathly white. I checked the date on my phone again. It was the same. It was as if I was in a closed loop. Nothing came out of the tap anymore. Only silence. I looked at my hands. Something was moving under the skin. Small, dark silhouettes. I screamed, and heard myself in a child's voice. On the seventh time, the architecture changed. The houses became crooked. The stairs led to the sky. The doors were on the ceiling. People walked backwards. There was no sun in the sky. There was an eye. One day I blinked, and it came closer. The whole world lived under its observation. I couldn't take it anymore. I just lay down on the ground, closed my eyes. Let there be a next level. Just not this one. On the eighth time, I opened my eyes and distrustfully checked my reflection in the mirror. The landscape outside the window. Turned on the TV, looked into the microwave. Everything finally seemed normal. I already thought that now I was truly awake. And then my phone rang. I picked up the receiver and just couldn't speak. You know, that happens in dreams. I tried, but other people's words flew out of my mouth. Words that I didn't know, but which I understood. As if there was something ancient inside me. There was a note on the table with some phrase on it. But I don't remember it. It's weird, because I remember the entire dream in detail. More precisely, dreams. I don't even know how to count them. I started crying. I didn't want to anymore. But I still lay down, gritting my teeth, just to finish. I woke up. Light, room, everything. Familiar. But I don't feel anything. As if the body is not mine. Everything is too right. Not a single speck of dust. Somehow too usual. I already suspect literally everything. I called my friend and my mother, turned on the radio and went to work. I looked so suspicious. I looked very closely at objects, examined the interior, people. Several of my colleagues at work asked what was happening to me. In their usual voices, I came home after work, had dinner. For a long time I stared at one point, feeling so tired, as if I had not slept for a week. I sat down at the computer and wrote this post. The worst thing is that I remember every dream in great detail. I rarely remember dreams, but this is something else. I'm still not sure if I'm awake. I'm afraid to sleep. Has anyone else had this? Please tell me I'm not the only one.